Another year down in the books. Another reason to come celebrate the back-to-back 3-time champ. Only kings have rings. But in seriousness, I'm shitting bricks, man. I think this is going to be a crazy draft. Usually there's going to be anomalies, but I think they did their homework this year, so I'm hoping they didn't.
My shirt says it all.
All right. This is the AGS podcast. We're back with a post-draft episode. I'm Rebel Scum, joined here with the Pod Squad tonight. We got some exciting topics to discuss. I feel like I've been threatened. We're going to get right into it, but first let's introduce the rest of the fellas. Starting with the commissioner, 4-time champ. What's up, Froggy?
Glad to be here. Thanks for the intro, man. I hope you have thick skin and a strong drink tonight for tonight's episode, Scum. I think we unlocked a new fear, becoming the main character on the pod of the episode after the draft. I'm also excited for tonight's episode as I bring back the second edition of Frog's Butterfly Effect.
That is, I can't wait. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about this episode for the last 4 days or however long it's been. Quan, it's great to see you somewhat back to life, recovering from Montezuma's revenge. How you doing?
He muted himself.
I told you this was going to be a problem. I told you.
Had some of the worst stomach sickness I've ever had.
Hey, roll it back. So you had Montezuma's revenge.
Oh man, had some of the worst stomach sickness I've ever had in my life during what is the greatest time that I look forward in my life. It's funny, you guys kept saying, man, this is probably the worst draft for you. And really, I had a great time. I was just sick. I still enjoyed every moment of it. But that's it, Quan.
Well, we're just talking about what it looked like from our vantage point, and delivering food into the sick room.
You come out, make a pick, go take a dump. Come out, make a pick, take a nap.
What I really regret is there's so many conversations I missed because I've talked to Lennon, I talked to you afterwards, and you guys like, yeah, we already debated that, and I was like, damn. I missed everything.
Yeah, you were plugged up in your room, so you didn't really.
There was a lot of wall watching and debating. We get down there with these grandiose plans of going to Gas Lamp and popping bottles, and we end up always spending a solid 10 hours a week and just staring at the wall and debating picks in life.
I actually look forward to that. That is some of my favorite times of the draft is the post roster baiting.
Hey, some of my favorite baiting is that good old roster baiting.
I think
we had a little joke. My bad. We had a joke that if the Airbnb owner was like peeping on us through the cameras, he was like, "Man, these fools are boring. They just sit at a fucking table staring at a wall. Like, is a fucking is it stuck? Is it a glitch?"
The Airbnb owner loved us. We got 5-star reviews across the board.
I bet
The best group of naysayers that have ever rented my home.
That's funny shit. Yeah, I think we've been kind of missing out on something all these years. I mean, it is fun to go out, but when are most of us all together to at least discuss fantasy football, trash each other, and kind of do what we did this weekend? I think that's the move anyways. Plus, in a spot like we had, shout out to whomever was the Airbnb plug, Froggy. I don't know if you want to plug them or not, if it's appropriate.
Oh, no, it was VRBO. We had to scramble a bit because I kind of dragged my feet on booking this year, but we were able to find something in a much better location actually for us, and it was a nicer house, had plenty of rooms. I mean, it had what we dubbed the frat house, had a room with a kitchen in it. BC had a fireplace. I had a private room. It was an awesome room, and I honestly, the highlight for me, it harkened back to our early 20s when Scum and I had some intense backyard water volleyball games up in Upland, California. But that was just awesome, man. Just
that was fun.
the intensity. You know, I wish it was a play pool where it was even. I think we would have played that game all night. But
Yeah,
it was
that deep
it
end
just
was no joke, bro.
it made me feel like a kid again, man. Just hanging out with
Right.
my boys, having fun. You know, there were all kind of antics in Sports Center top 10 highlights during that water polo tournament, water volleyball tournament.
That was
so
fun,
we had a blast, man.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or the house was just perfect, and you know, you don't have to deal with the just the hectic nature of going out and, you know, trying to organize stuff in the gas lamp, and then people want to do different things, all this kind of stuff. Everybody just wants to chill. Yes, we are old. We've obviously shown our age plenty of times, but it is what it is, man. And that is the highlight. The highlight and the low light too. At times, it could be depending on how things go.
It's the whole, you know, Brandon Lewis and I are members of the same fraternity. You know, it just takes us back to that frat house, man, where we spent hours of the best times of our lives together, just being kids without responsibilities. You know, so it takes, you know, it's a chance for us. No kids, no wives, no girlfriends. We can just be kids and play a game that we love and have fun for a weekend and just chill, man. So I look forward to it. I tell everyone, man, there's no weekend on the calendar that I look forward to more than draft weekend.
Facts.
100%. Shout out to San Antonio Heights too, man. The only drawback to the San Diego house was it didn't have a pool like that one. NJC, defending champ, back-to-back champ. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. I mean, I can't echo the sentiment any better than Lennon did, man. It was a great weekend. You know, 11 out of 12 showed up. You know, camaraderie, iron sharpening iron, talking finance, talking life, talking football, talking shit, all of that. It was just great times, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, tip of the cap to Mish for locking down an awesome draft headquarters. I mean, Pac-Man, freaking billiards, a pool, a view. Man, it was couldn't ask for a better weekend. That's probably why we didn't leave the house, because we was like, shit. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It had everything we needed in one spot, dude. And that volleyball game, I didn't catch the tattoo in the face, but that was an epic moment. Hey. That's cute. But no, man, looking forward to a good season. Looking forward to another podcast run with you boys. My weekly highlights haven't been the same since we stopped recording. So just looking forward to getting back in, man. This next 2 weeks is going to be tough. So
if I could just jump in, JC, real quick, one last thing about the house. The fact that we have visitors that come to our draft weekend that aren't even in the league. We had Bruce, Spring Break Bruce, this is second year in a row where he's just wanted to be there, right? Not even in the league, but just wants to be in that element. Their boy Anthony flew in from Atlanta. He's already said, lock me in for next year. I had a blast. The fact that people that aren't even in the league can come out and have a really good weekend. And, you know, I put a little something on Instagram about it, and everyone wants to know, like, what's your secret? Like, I'm in a league, but we don't go as hard as you guys. Like, what do you make the losers do? What's the grand prize? Like, tell us your secret, because how do you convince all the wives to let you guys go for a whole weekend? I get a couple hours in the office after work, you know. So I think we're the envy of a lot of guys, and it's you know, testament to all of our league owners. Thank you for everybody for coming out. And, you know, next year, Bussy, you got to join us.
Phantom of the Bat Mitzvah. He shall be discussed tonight as well.
He may not want to show up. You know, it's basically a Diddy party out there, is what I've been told.
Did call it a Diddy party. It was like, bro, it's all guys here. What is that? What you trying to say, bro?
Yeah. After having attended several of these himself. Before we get into the draft, though, real quick,
he's on the list.
Kamish, I think in your retirement, you might have a second career as like a vacation planner, because you have that kind of shit dialed in, man. So, you know,
yeah, man, we're big. We're big. We like to put itineraries together. You know, me and the wife, we're big on that. I remember when we got engaged in San Francisco, I had this big itinerary of where we're staying and the shopping spree and the tattoos and the dinner and the engagement. And we've just, this year she raised the stakes. She had this crazy itinerary for our family vacation in New York. And I actually shout out our Sans Greg Ruffin. I found out that his family, they do high-end concierge planning for the stars. So there is a market for it. And they make good money doing it, man. So we entertain all options in the Cooper household, all side hustles.
I know that we'll eventually do another Wives, Significant Others podcast sometime this season. And I think maybe we should try talking about the things we love about our wives, or like the connections we have. Because you just mentioned one that you and Alexis have, but this ain't that podcast tonight. Tonight is, as you said it, the Burn Shit Down podcast, the Take Down the White Man podcast. I understand it. It's in this MAGA era. It's fine, man.
So now you want to decide with whites, so that if we go off too much on you get the sympathy of the. Okay, I see.
The world is out to get me. Obviously. Well, let's kick off. I don't want to speak first on my draft logic, because why start there? So let's go with someone. Let's go with you, Kamish, because you said yours would be quick, and it pretty much worked out the way it did.
Yeah, and one note, I don't know if we're debuting the new artwork, but we had some artwork made for the podcast, and the three black hosts were perfectly fine with their artwork, but the white man demanded that his artwork be redone, and he ended up with the best artwork. Now the rest of us want new artwork, but
actually, hopefully sorry to shut you down right there, Coop, but actually you brought something up. I actually want to take some time and say thank you, man. The wife reached out and asked if I liked, so I think she might have had a hand in that too, but I really want to say thank you for this, man. Like, I want to frame this shit. This was a really amazing gift, bro. Like, I love the bobblehead, love the ceremony, but this was really awesome. So I just want to thank you guys for that. That's dope.
No one can see it, at least on this screen. Maybe on the white screen we can.
You can see it. Yeah, just put it up there.
Okay. It's a split screen that's throwing up. I loved how Bussy said, "You guys make a hand painted portrait for NJC." Oh, jelly boo. I didn't even get mad at his jokes, because you could just hear the jealousy.
He should have came. I'd have let him hold it. Pause.
Well,
he's almost as big as he is.
He's gonna be holding it all season from all of us.
Hey, he's gonna have a friend helping him though. So.
All right, Scum. Yeah, you pass it to me. I'll make it quick. Going into the draft, I wanted to balance long-term stability with upside. My first pick was at 104. And honestly, I told everyone going in, I would have been truly happy with any of the top four running backs. We had we'll talk about this as the night goes on. We had a running back heavy first round, top 2 rounds. And the whole like dropping seeds of Travis Hunter is I just wanted to have even more of a choice at number 4 as to which running back fell to me. The top 3 that I had ranked, Genty, Kyron Williams, Hampton, that's how the top 3 went. So I was left with 4. And, I think different people had slotted me taking different backs. I know there was a push for RJ Harvey. At one point before his legal issues, I had considered Quinshon Judkins. But in the end, I went with Travion Henderson. I was happy to lock him in on a 4-year deal. It gives me a cost-controlled cornerstone at running back through the early prime of his career. From there, my focus was locking up stability at quarterback and tight end. I grabbed Patrick Mahomes. I guess he's like 3rd tier now. I'm hoping for kind of a revenge season. It might be rough with the Rashee Rice suspension to start the season, losing one of his weapons, but mainly looking for a quarterback I can kind of set and forget. Tyler Warren was my 3rd pick. Put him on a 2-year rookie deal, giving me flexibility with a young tight end. I think we'll hit. I was telling folks that I went to Cosm in Inglewood. Pretty cool experience if you haven't checked it out, for viewing live sporting events. And my son wanted to go see, I think it was Boise State, Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl. And that's when I was introduced to Tyler Warren. He was catching balls over the field, scoring touchdowns. So that's what kind of put me on him. And to Quan's point, I think pre-pod, I did a lot of research between Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland to kind of decide which rookie I wanted to roll with. Next, I took a calculated swing on Quinshot Judkins. It's a guy I said, again, before legal issues, I had him graded as a first-round running back in our draft. Getting him 2 rounds later and being able to put a 2-year rookie contract to me is more low risk, high reward if he can get back on track. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he can sign. I heard that at least at this point, it's a contract dispute that could be cleared up any day, but then there may be some ramifications with an NFL suspension for his legal issues. So we'll see, man. There's a lot of that on my bench between Quinshaw and Rashee Rice, Joe Mixon injury. So I feel like the bench, the rest of the picks were just depth. Quan mentioned, the knowledge base that we have, and I think that comes from putting in minimum 250 plus hours of fantasy podcast listening this offseason. As soon as the season ended around Christmas up to the draft, I'm listening to various shows on all my drives, taking the kids around Los Angeles. But I leaned on that knowledge to grab situational upside guys, fill out my roster. And I will, every year, my annual goal is to build for now and for the future.
That is the trick in this type of league, is trying to win now and trying to build for the future and making sure you hit. Yeah, that was a pretty solid draft for you. I don't want to talk too much about your picks just yet, because it's among my favorite picks of the draft was how you guys played the first round. Quan, you want to talk about your draft logic?
Yeah, so I had a lot of keepers coming into this draft. I had basically the only position that I needed to finish a full starting squad was tight end. So I was thinking I feel like what I was weak at was not necessarily weak, but I have 2 really solid running backs, but both of them are pretty injury prone. And so I was like, I can either lock up some depth and maybe future with a good rookie running back or solid running back. But unfortunately, it was a run on running backs very early in the draft, and even then, I still I went with all right. Let me just solidify my squad and get not only what I thought to be the best tight end in our draft, but could be one of the top wide receivers this year. So his situation is awesome. He's come back in great shape this year. And so I went with Kittle. I'll
second that, Quan. I'm jealous of the fact. I remember when I had the luxury of going tight end with my first pick because my team was fully built out. I think he was the best tight end in the draft. Obviously, I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan. And there's really no other receiving weapons for Brock Purdy to throw to. So, great pick.
So my thought process with my second pick was I have to go running back. And in all of my preparation and mock drafts, I have myself landing either Isaiah Pacheco, DeAndre Swift, or my last, least favorite pick was going to be Tony Pollard. Isaiah Pacheco went first pick in the second round. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then Swift went first round. David Montgomery went early in the second, and I was landed Tony Pollard, who I felt was also sort of a dark horse. I mean, of all people, Lennon would know. Lennon had him last year. He was a secret sort of double-digit running back last year who boomed when Tajay Spears was out. And luckily, I got lucked up. Tajay Spears is on PUP. So he's going to be good early to start. But in reality, I really don't need him early on because my 2 running backs are solid. But
that's one I look back at, though, like when you talk about regrets for keepers and drafts. I think after our keeper announcements is when Tajay Spears went down with injury. Then you compound that with the Rashee Rice suspension. So definitely, it gives me something to second guess if I should have kept Pollard over Rashee Rice. But I did.
And so when I had that pick, I was battling all right, Quinshon Judkins just landed to me in the second round. This is a running back who I felt was probably neck and neck with Hampton as the number 2 running back in this class. And I was like, there was no way that I thought he would ever fall to me, and he was there. But I was like, dude, if I pick him, Achan or Taylor get hurt, I'm stuck with nothing because this guy, and I did not have a 4-year I didn't have anything over a 2-year contract. I felt like he's someone who needs to be on at least a 3 or a 4 because I feel like his first year is probably going to be a wash. But he's uber talented. But then I was like, you know what? This is my year. I have to win this year. So let me go with the solid solid depth of somebody who's ready to go. And I felt like Tony Pollard was like the better pick right now. I may have sabotaged the future by not going with him. And of course, Lennon picks him up the very next round. My next pick was Javonte Williams with my 3rd pick. So backtrack. I had 4 receiver keepers who are all good. So I needed nothing but running backs and a tight end. I had picked the best tight end already, so I just need to finish out the draft with running backs. At this point, there was trash at running back, and I knew then, and there was nothing. There was no running backs that are even close to being starters or owning the backfield. And it came down to either Joe Mixon, who's pretty much a Quan. He'll be inducted into the Quan Hall of Fame when it's all over. Who's on a pup, or Javonte Williams, where history has shown the lead running back with Dallas is always fantasy relevant. Even terrible guys like Rico Dowdle can be good with in Dallas's backfield. But we'll see. So I went with the upside with Javonte Williams. I know everybody feels like he's gonna he will not have that starting position by the time the season's over, or even by week 2 or 3. So, but we'll see. They said the same thing about J.K. Dobbins last year. My next pick, I really didn't even know what I was going to do. It was just, at this point, I'm just throwing darts at a wall right now. I had my original plan was to pick Tyler Warren with my 3rd round pick, but Lennon beat me to that once again. So I picked, I just added the very last running back on the board, and now I'm like, well, next best thing is Colson Loveland. I did not like him when I researched him out versus Tyler Warren. I feel like the dude is getting all this praise, and I just do not see it. I've never seen this man break a tackle. He just looks like a large wide receiver to me. But he went to the perfect situation, and it just seems like Ben Johnson just keeps slurping him to death. And so I just really hope he proves me wrong. But I picked him up because you just cannot beat that type of draft capital in that type of offense. The man was 10th pick overall. And so there's no way that an organization is not going to try to prove themselves right by force feeding this dude. So we'll see. My next pick, Bigsby and ATN. I was Lenny, you can interject anytime.
I just had a question. You meant, and Quan, pre-production, we talked about keeping this to 2 minutes or less. So
all right.
I'm just messing with you, man. I did want to talk about not a draft pick, but a keeper that you didn't anticipate having to keep. There's a little bit of controversy at the draft. I think it even resulted in a rule change. If you could talk a little bit about the deal you had, at least you thought you had agreed to for Zay Flowers, and kind of that, right? Like why is Zay Flowers still on your roster?
So this messed me up in the draft as well, because my plan all along was to cut Zay Flowers to get my 4-year contract. Had that happened, I might have picked Quincy Judkins with my first overall pick. But Joe convinced me that we had a good trade. We had a trade, and so I kept him to trade him to Joe, because if I got Joe's 2nd round pick, I could have done a lot. But anyhow, by me keeping Zay Flowers, now I got 4 wide receivers, and that's just not room for any more wide receivers on my team. I felt like there were also other wide receivers, being that running backs went so heavy in the first 2 rounds. There were solid wide receivers that I could have gotten that I think could equal the production of Zay Flowers in the later rounds, and also not be under contract. So if they don't pan out, I could have cut them. So that messed me up. But at the same time, the good part about it, if Zay breaks out this year, there's many talks of him having a third year breakout. He will come back as a keeper, on contract another year. So it's not that bad, but it did sort of mess my strategy up slightly, but.
Well, Joe's listening to this right now while he's driving Chase and JoJo to school. So, feel free to throw him under the bus here live on the podcast.
What's funny is when I told this story, it was no surprise to anyone. And to be honest with you guys, it was no surprise to me when he reneged. So, I wasn't really that affected, because there is a silver lining to keeping Flowers. But yeah, dude, Joe, you can't trust any unofficial trade agreements with Joseph Awumi.
Well, the problem is
throw anybody under the bus, but
right. The
Joseph Awumi.
You've been spending so much time in the beautiful, area that you live in Los Angeles, with the beautiful views of the downtown landscape, skyscape, and you travel, man. You travel to Mexico and to Hawaii. It's been a while since you've been in those mean streets down at the lower bottoms where those Nigerian scammers run loose, man. So it felt like Joe needed to humble you a little bit, Quan.
You're right.
Yeah, you've officially been Joe, bro.
We're victims. Anyway, I'm not gonna take no much more time with my roster, but that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. That was 20 minutes later.
Oh, man.
You said 2 minutes. You said 2 times 10.
That was 20 minutes?
Nah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad at all.
Cut me off.
Well, we always like to hear from a genius. It's like we're sitting here in the Italian Renaissance with Michelangelo and Da Vinci.
Da Vinci, yeah.
It's good to hear from a genius of modern times with fantasy football. We all can take notes and learn from the mighty Quan.
Pass me a scroll, please.
We'll pass the mic to you, NJC. How about you walk us through your draft logic here? Operating at the number 12 pick.
Draft logic. It's always pointless to try to have a draft logic when you're picking from 12. I can mock draft a whole bunch of scenarios. I can have a long list of people I want to take, but you can never account for an anomaly like Joe, and you don't know what the first round runoff is going to be. You don't know what the trends are going to be. So I had a plan of, obviously I wanted a shot at one of the rookie running backs, right? I didn't know how fast they would go. I figured that, who I wanted was not going to fall to me. So essentially,
tell them who you wanted, NJC.
Yeah. He got picked up number 4. And it's funny. I looked at all the, I read all the fantasy, articles and listened to all the podcasts, and everybody's so high on Amarion, and it's just something about Travion Henderson, man. I just, I like the way he, plays the position he plays. And then of course, the first time he touches the football, he runs 100-yard return. I was like, yeah, Coop's gonna grab him, bro.
I think that just officially took him off of making it to any of the later rounds.
Absolutely.
You know what's better than Travion Henderson? 4 years of Travion.
I was about to say 4 years of Travion Henderson. So, and Joe Bryan and I sat over in the pre roster bait section and chatted about strategy, and I was like, bro, I think all the running backs that are going to be had are going in the top round. So obviously the best strategy is that you just take the best position at that time that you need when the clock is up. So my money was on either Tet or JSN, right? I figured that's kind of what was going to fall to me. And like you were talking about before we started recording, Lou, there's always going to be somebody in the draft who snipes your picks right before you do it, whether it's the order, the way the order flows, but every pick I wanted, Joe took, right? So I figured Joe was going to either take a running back or, we know how Joe likes to sign rookies. So I figured Jackson, he was either going to be like a T. Higgins or a Jackson Smith is going to fall to me. So I grabbed him. Coop had my second. Third was Aaron Jones. Again, you took Pollard right before me. I was either looking at Pollard or, again, a running back who was just going to start and fill that flex. Jordan Mason went second round, a little bit higher than the actual starter of the Vikings. But I do think that Aaron Jones still at 28 is going to be, he's going to be solid for at least double digits for a while, right? So how long is that while? I think that kind of leads me to kind of the little flyer I took in the while. But so the rest of my picks, really, I don't know anybody in our league who doesn't want to get a shot at some rookie, right, at any given draft. So I've come to grips that most of the rookies I'm going to get are going to always be the flyers, right? If you're picking at the end of the draft, the end of the round, that means you're going to have, a little less picking. So I wanted a shot at a rookie. So Luther Burden, although there's a lot of mouths to feed in Chicago, he's a beast. He's a lot of positive reports about him. Route running tree is good. So I had, I didn't have any contracts that have been used. I had like all of my contracts. So what's it, nothing wrong with taking a flyer on someone who could potentially be good on a team. So I put a 3-year on him, and, he'll sit on the bench until maybe it's time for him to move him up.
Hey, NJC, speaking of rookie flyers that you took a chance on, your 8th round pick, rookie Terrence Ferguson, he didn't last on your roster very, very long. I have a feel it goes again. I think we talked about this last week. No love for the Rams players.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's, it's more of a decision you have to make, right? Every contract that you assign is a lock spot on your roster that cannot move unless 6 weeks go by and there's no activity. So I'm very cautious of assigning permanent spots when I have a team that might need a little mixing and moving throughout the season, right? So I made a decision on what I'd be willing to lock down, and that's definitely something I could hope to try to get some return on investment on this season. So I chose
True. It is. Trust me, it is. I face it every year. I do it to myself every year. I sign a bunch of contracts and I can't make moves on waivers.
Yeah, you got to be conscious of that, man. So Tyler Ferguson, unfortunately got the axe because I just felt like, I needed a little bit more flexibility for options. So then obviously I grabbed Jerry Jeudy. I just remember K had him last year, and that dude was putting up a sneaky 15 every game.
I don't know why he dropped so far.
I'll take it. I think, I don't know if it's
Diggs went before him.
Yeah. I'll take it, bro. I'll take it all day long, man.
He's number one receiver over there, and they're going to be down.
And Flacco airs the ball out, bro.
Yeah.
So
does backups.
So do the backups, man. If you're playing from behind, then you just, you got to air the ball out. So again, the next pick, Brandon Aubrey, there was a little bit of a defense run. So I, if you can't get the top 3 or whatever, try to get the, the best of what hasn't been picked. So I took Aubrey. And then the next one was a very interesting pick. So again, it goes back to me saying, you want to try to take get a rookie. So I looked at some of the options that were available, and it just kind of, I don't want to say it jumped off the page, but if you look at Javonte Williams, if you look, like you said, Quan, anybody who starts with a star on their head in the backfield is fantasy relevant. I really don't believe in Javonte Williams. Miles Sanders is already hurt. Why not put a 4-year on somebody who could have the backfield of the Dallas Cowboys by week 6, right? If everything goes right. So kind of similar to kind of your philosophy. I'm not going to say I'm super strong at running back, but I think that if Aaron Jones decides to pass the ball to Mason, hopefully that is Jaden eclipses and is playing by then. So we'll see. If not, we have Jeudy. We have some other options. There's trade options. So the last few picks, man, defenses. Why not? Why pick some bullshit when I can try to start off the season good with a defense and try to double up? So That's my little philosophy.
Thank you so much, champ. We appreciate that.
No problem.
That was wonderful. All right.
No, but I applaud you guys who got a shot at the running backs. Quan, I do think that was a good first round pick. Lennon, yeah, F you for having Travion Henderson and Judkins. You're the one team that I hate to see solid running backs go because I know your strategy.
I'm gonna have to change my my nickname to the Buckeyes. I got the Buckeyes backfield now.
Man,
Lennon rolled the dice on a lot of players that are facing suspension and injuries, but they have a lot of upside when they return. So it may bite them, but it may be.
I might have a hell of a team in week 7.
The second half of the season.
That's what I was gonna say, man. There's 2 parts of the season. There's 2 parts of the season.
Is
built for both.
Yeah.
Can I make it there?
Will they all make it before the trade deadline? Because you don't need all of them. And that's another thing. And having a fully stacked team is really good, for building for the future, but right before trade deadline.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's one part. How many rounds are in our draft?
14 total.
I think that a lot of the time people really discount the 15th round. And I think that a lot of money is made. I think championships are made. I think that the 15th round is really where it counts, and that's the waiver wire throughout.
Hey, let's save that for. You're right, 100%.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
I'm glad I'm on to something.
Somebody threw that away like it was
multiple people. I was shocked to see how many
I couldn't believe
were made.
Oh, yeah.
Scum draft breakdown.
Yes, indeedy. Well, I wanted to build my team around running backs, and I knew it was going to get real bad by the second round. I did not think Travion, like all of us here, I did not think Henderson would get to me. But I did some chaos drafts or dream drafts, if you want to call it that, where it did land to me for one reason or another. But I figured I would probably land Caleb Johnson. And I was good with that. Jordan Mason.
He was the last one. He was the last one left.
He was literally the last one left.
Yeah.
And I mean, by virtue of being as bad as I was last season, I was able to kind of fall into that. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure that pick made your brother JJ proud as a proud Steelers fan, and you slapped a 4-year contract on him.
And my dad too. My dad was a big Steelers fan, and our oldest brother as well. A lot of Steeler fans in the family. A lot of them no longer with us. So yeah, it did actually make me proud too. Tap into the spirit of that. Everything kind of shook out a little. Well, more or less. I didn't expect Pacheco or Montgomery to both be gone by the time I got to my second pick. And so I was kind of looking at them. I knew I didn't want to get Tracy. I might regret not getting Krosky Merritt because I think he might be a sleeper. I just couldn't do Pollard, Jones, and Williams. A couple of those guys were hurt consecutive years for me. 2 of them gave me arguably the best season I've ever had, 10-game winning streak, what I thought would be better days ahead. But I just couldn't do it, man.
You're dragging us out, Scum. Tell us why you drafted Jordan Mason.
That's what I'm waiting to hear.
You were like beating around the bush.
That's the one. Oh.
Why you drafted a committee back?
Because I think there's gonna be more of a committee split, as you said. And it's a long season. Guys get rest. I don't wish injury on anybody, and I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to attach any names to anything. But I think he has an opportunity there. So yeah, that was a bit of a swing, and I just didn't like Tyrone Tracy Jr. Pacheco was gone. Montgomery was gone. I wanted Montgomery. I thought if I was going to go with a committee, that's a really good running back committee, and Pimps thought the same thing. So that's just how it went. And a lot of that happened for me throughout the draft because I was hoping to get Warren in the 3rd round. Warren was gone. Judkins.
I think I disagree. I think Mason could be the better part of that committee. He's younger. They traded for him. Aaron Jones is, getting long in the tooth. If there's an injury with Jones, Mason takes over that backfield. I feel like that's who you would rather have in the committee versus Montgomery dealing with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Well, I'm glad it worked out that way then. And you said some of the things that I didn't want to say, but yeah, that's how I'm hoping. He didn't have a lot of opportunities in San Francisco, but when he did have opportunities with the 49ers, he made the most of those opportunities. And that's kind of the theme with a lot of the guys that I went forward with in future picks. So I did like Judkins too, but I was looking at him in the 4th round. I wanted Sutton. I didn't think he would make it to me, but if he did, I was going to get him. And then at that point in the 3rd round, I just figured I need a really good tight end. Kittle's gone. Hawkinson. I didn't want to grab a rookie, although Loveland probably would have been pretty nice too. I like Kraft, but Njoku had a really strong finish to last season. He played really well with Joe Flacco, and I'm just counting on some more of that magic. Like a lot of us are counting on a lot of things to shake out. Scatterboo by the 4th round. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I really like that pick, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was known for hyper targeting tight ends, and I think BC picked him up the first year before last when he beat me. Picked him up very late, and Flacco had came in as a starting QB with Cleveland, and that pretty much was his number 1 target. I
actually thought that Vussy was going to grab him with his first pick of the 3rd round. I did not think he would make it to me. And at that point, I figured he won't make it back around again. Just get him get the guy that you like if he's there. That was my thought on that. So we'll see how it works out. I did think about Joe Mixon too. I was probably 4th round was probably the spot where I would have started to look at him. I actually had a couple of drafts where he went in the 2nd round. I actually had a draft where you took him, Quan, because you just had just picks to burn. You just have the luxury of already having a pretty stacked team. And I thought that, he is a Hall of Famer, Quan Hall of Famer. You would have just been like, not smoking Joe Mixon.
He's an enigma. I've got the Texans running back coach say, don't sweat it. He'll play right away. Then they get thrown on PUP for at least a month. Then you have the GM coming out yesterday saying, or today, we don't even know if he's going to play this year. So he's definitely an enigma. It's a big roll of the dice. If he comes back after a month, it's beneficial, but it's much longer than that.
What steered me away, I've had Joe Mixon his whole career. Well, I keep saying that. You guys know that. But he's hurt that ankle almost every year. And I feel like at this point, 8 years now, he hurt it twice last year, that maybe the arthritis is kicking in. They had to do like some sort of cleanup surgery that I think it's at the point now where it's just not recovering anymore. And that's what went through my mind. I think he hurt it like his 2nd year or sometime in his 1st, but it's been that same ankle. And now it says he's 30 years old now. And so, man, it's only so many times. But yeah. But good luck to you, though, Coop, because let me tell you, if he comes back, that when he's on the field, and I'll give you this piece of advice, because when he's back and he's going to play him. Don't think like, I'm going to wait and maybe wait this week out because he will light your bench up.
Damn, just colluding with everybody. Fuck.
I think we play week 6, so hopefully he's back in time to play against you, Quan.
If he plays, throw him out there.
A little revisiting.
Fuck.
Is his bye week? I think his bye week might be week 6. I'm looking at the draft board right now. Might say week 6. Yeah, anyways, getting back to it. So this was the point in the draft where I started thinking to myself, if there's a guy I want to get, I should probably get him because I don't know who's going to start picking just random shots. There's not a lot of running backs left. There's very few backups you'd want to get. Charbonnet, that is kind of a good look, but again, I know I had a long-term contract, and I'm hoping that developmentally, Scatabo can turn into something. Obviously, sooner than later, but
I like
you know,
that pick. I was looking at him
see,
to come back around.
exactly,
I like that pick.
exactly.
When you saw
Thank you.
the love in their face when they drafted him, it's the only type of love you get.
Well, that's what Scum has in common with the front office of the New York Giants. You know, they all kind of look alike. Scatabo also looks like them. Take that as you will. He's a third day draft pick, and a lot of people are pointing to him as being similar to Bucky Irving last year, who was a third day pick and took the job in Tampa Bay and is become a top 10 running back.
If that is the case, I'll fucking take it, and I'll feel really good about the draft at that point. For
He's
sure.
like that white running back that got the cover of Madden that one year. You know.
Peyton
Hillis.
Thank you. Yeah, Cleveland Browns. I remember that shit. One year that motherfucker might just do it. Who knows? If it hits in the
I just
right
like
year.
the last name. The last name just sounds a little racist to me.
Hey,
boy.
He was fun to watch at Arizona State, man. I mean,
Yeah, he was.
It was must-see television.
Awesome.
He runs hard. He
was throwing, touchdown passes, catching passes, running. He was fun to watch in college.
Yeah, and I liked his chain. You know, he had his like a Snickers, but it said like Scatabo on it or some shit like that. Coming back to the 5th round, Jordan Addison. I needed some receivers then. I went running back heavy. I needed some actual receivers there. Although I think that Pickens and Samuel have an opportunity to do something at least for one more year. I like Jordan Addison, good second option there in Minnesota. He's not as good as Jerry Jeudy, definitely. I don't know. I just didn't want 2 Cleveland pass catchers on my team. I don't know. That's not
another
great.
one too. I'm surprised that way before Jeudy. Addison, Diggs, Waddle. It's like, man, they're going before.
Yeah. I mean, a full season with Jeudy, put up great numbers. But I don't know, man. That's not great logic, but that's just how I looked at that pick. Baltimore, the defense. I just needed some better players. So you said it, Coop, in the last podcast. You know, that when you were reviewing the keeper talent, I ranked at the bottom. So I was just trying to get some top 3 players at any position. And Baltimore.
Right, we're doing a draft breakdown of DSTs. You know, I feel like I'm the only host out of the 4 of us that stuck to the 2-minute rule.
Yeah, I know.
Right on.
I was thinking skip the defenses.
I mean, I didn't know we were breaking down every pick. I skipped like my last 6 picks. Can I go back and get another 10 minutes on the clock?
So let's get into it, Nick.
Yeah. Well,
at this point, you're at round 6 now.
Yeah.
All right.
Was there anything else you? How about Dante Thornton Jr.? You want to break that one down for us?
Yeah. Let me get into his Tennessee.
Nick Chubb, Kyle Pitts. Come on.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
I think Nick Chubb's pretty obvious, and maybe he'll be for a month hopefully he can run the rock. Yeah, we'll talk about the 6th pick.
I think Kyle Pitts was probably one of your best picks.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know. That's a long shot.
I think he might be comeback player of the year.
We'll see.
We'll
see.
And you
What is he coming back from?
With that,
I don't know.
back.
You know what?
Coming back from sucking?
Do they have most improved player?
No.
Finally living up to the draft type player?
Yeah.
No.
So from your the last pod when we make our key announcements, Nick, you surprised everyone and kept a second quarterback when you have Jaden Daniels already under contract, who was pretty much a top 3 quarterback this season. And your logic was because the players that you cut was Javonte Williams and Jalen Warren. And your logic was, hey, those 2 players, they give me no value. I'm going to keep the better value player for that possibly either I can keep to have some backup for Jaden Daniels in case he gets hurt, or I'll be able to move him for a high value pick. You moved him for a 6th round pick where Warren and Williams, I believe, went in the third and fourth round.
Hmm.
Take it from there, Lennon.
Well, Quan, we're speeding up the itinerary here a little bit, the agenda. But no, it's a good segue, Nick. I'm going to just jump in. I know we have some other stuff to do, and we have some best and worst from the draft. But since it was brought in here, if you guys would indulge me, and Quan, feel free if there's anything that I miss, let's cover it. But I'm so excited to bring back the second edition. This is Frog's Butterfly Effect Part 2. Titled The Tragedy of Rebel Scum. Welcome back to Frog's Butterfly Effect, the only segment where I ask, what if? What if a single decision, a single handshake, a single moment of fantasy football panic could send ripples through the space-time continuum of any given Sunday? Today's cautionary tale, our host, Rebel Scum, and the Shakespearean tragedy of Bo Nix. Let's rewind the tape. The origin story of Bo Nix. It all began in the hazy twilight of the 2024 draft. A bold visionary known as T. Ruth selected Bo Nix in the 9th round. Not great, not terrible, a dart throw. But the winds of fate turned cruel on September 11th, an infamous date in our country's history. T. Ruth cast Bo Nix aside like the tub of leftover matzo ball soup from Bussy's bat mitzvah in favor of Derek Carr. That quarterback who aged in dog years over the season, ended up quarterback 25 with 187 points and retired from the NFL 3 months ago. Enter our tragic hero, Rebel Scum. On October 23rd, Scum snatched Bo Nix off waivers. What followed? A fantasy fairy tale. Bo Nix caught fire, finished as the number 8 quarterback at AGS with 393 points. Just 2 spots behind Scum's own franchise quarterback, Jaden Daniels, who had 427 points. Fast forward, like Quan mentioned, to last episode's keeper announcements, where Scum stood on his digital soapbox and proclaimed, and I had to re-listen to this, it's a win-win. I will keep both Daniels and Nix. Sure, they share a bye week, but Bo Nix, he's value, baby. VALUE, value. Scum's keeper casualty.
Sorry about that. Anyways, Cooper
So just to confirm here, you're the first team tonight to bring back 2 quarterbacks?
That is correct. That is
you
correct.
are locking in Jaden Daniels rookie
That's
contract.
probably be making history. Other than
the Awumi.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, the cuts are it's trash, man. It's a bunch of running backs by committee that I can keep, and I see this is a very positive thing. This is a win-win situation. It's obviously controversial, perhaps even provocative. Fantasy football connoisseurs in a keeper league, you usually wouldn't do this. You brought up a Woomy. That's not really a place, a team most teams want to settle around. But fortunately,
model right there.
Yeah. But like I said, there's a couple of different wins that can come out of this, no matter what happens, provided everyone's healthy and plays to their ability. I think it's gonna be a good sophomore season for both of these quarterbacks. And you can never downplay the role of a strong backup quarterback or someone you can pivot. Seems like fewer and fewer quarterbacks are just plug and play. So we'll see, man.
Well, I there are some names out there. You cut Quentin Johnson. I feel like he's only going viral this offseason for his drops. But the cost of this value to keep Bo Nix, Scum sacrificed Javonte Williams, who turned into a 2025 third-round pick by the Quan. Jalen Warren, a 5th-round pick by Sugan Dees. You'll hear more about Sugan later. Cooper Kupp, a 6th-rounder, chosen 7 spots before Sugan Dees was scheduled to draft again. All of these valuable assets left on the keeper altar in favor of redundancy at quarterback. Trade market reality check. Now here's where this butterfly starts flapping its wings into a full-blown hurricane. In a league where the following actual trades occurred: James Robinson, 1st-round pick. Anyone remember him? Adam Thielen, 2nd-round pick. Ramondre Stevenson traded for a 2nd-round pick. Dalton Kincaid, Devin Singletary, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Hunter Henry, each traded for 3rd-round picks. Deontay Johnson, Evan Ingram, Kirk Cousins, Cam Newton, Sterling Shepard, and Jordan Howard all traded for 4th-round picks. Melvin Gordon, Raheem Mostert, hell, even a 2-year contract was traded for a 5th-round pick. N'Keal Harry and Jamal Williams traded for 6th-round picks. Yet, Bo Nix, the number 8 quarterback in AGS, according to CBS Sports, a player kept instead of Javonte Williams, Jalen Warner, or Cooper Kupp, was subsequently traded by Scum for Scum, insert drumroll, please, a 6th-round pick from Sugandis. I told you he'd be returning to this story. The 8th pick in the 6th round, number 68 overall. The comparative carnage. Bo Nix was traded for the draft slot position 52 picks after quarterback Patrick Mahomes was drafted, 36 picks after rookie Cam Ward was drafted, 35 picks after Kyler Murray was drafted, 30 picks after Baker Mayfield was drafted, 19 picks after Dak Prescott was drafted, 13 picks after CJ Stroud was drafted, and 5 picks after Caleb Williams was drafted. In fact, the 68th draft pick Nix was traded for was sandwiched between the Pittsburgh Steelers defense and T-Roof's tight end Zach Ertz. Value? Sure, if you're shopping at Pick and Save. The final twist. And how did Scum leverage this premium value, you ask? What treasure did he unearth with this majestic 6th-round pick? Michael Penix Jr. Another quarterback of the future? Maybe. So now as we sit here with the 2025 season a week away, Sugan trots out Bo Nix as his starting quarterback. And Rebel Scum, I mean, when I'm done, I'm sure he'll provide a response. But it is my belief that he has been holding a candlelight vigil for the value that could have been, as there were reports of a Mayo man fitting Scum's description seen slapping himself in the face while driving northbound on the 15 freeway last Sunday morning. In closing, the butterfly effect is merciless. One decision, one panic moment, one bye week. Rebel Scum could have waited, could have held Nix through the draft, could have extracted a 4th, 3rd, maybe even a 1st rounder. It's not unheard of, especially when quarterback injuries hit this season. But alas, in a moment of bye week dread, in a moment where he could have used Texas Hold'em derived life skills, he blinked and the butterfly flapped its wings. Now Bo Nix lives with Sugandis. Michael Penix Jr. lives on Scum's bench. And the echo of what could have been lives forever in the AGS archives. That's all for this week's of the edition of the Butterfly Effect. Until next time, if you can't make good decisions, at least make entertaining ones.
Excellent. You almost got that 100% right. I never, ever realized and said on the last podcast that they had the same bye week. As a matter of fact, I announced that Friday night that I realized after I'd kept them that they have the same bye week. Guys, I fucked that up. Thank you for pointing that out in 15 eloquently chat GPT fueled minutes. I really appreciate that.
You know,
anything else?
It was written by me, but ChatGPT cleaned it up for sure.
Oh, yeah, I know, because you even read the headlines there. I heard you read the fucking next segment.
Oh, no, that was purposeful. Purposeful.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think it's fair to say, though, had I hung on to it, I did get some glazing on some of these picks, so it would have been a pretty nice draft. And I fucked that up. I knew I fucked it up as soon as I shook that man's hand, but unlike Joe Owumi, I was not about to say, I take that back. And yeah, I saw it. We all saw it. I can edit that in too. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I mean, what other face would you have when you're listening to something like that? Yeah, I know I fucked up. Thank you. It's a life lesson. We talk about life lessons. Sometimes the only lessons learned in life are the ones you walk through. Thank you for that. Let's get the fuck on to the rest of this podcast with the favorite questionable picks. This one I think we can rattle off really, really quickly. I'll get this one started. Thank you. And by the way, great butterfly effect. That was a really good segment. I hate being the butt of that joke. And the good thing is that there's an entire season left to play, and I'm pretty sure someone else is gonna fuck something up way worse than me. Hopefully, please God, let that happen. All right. So favorite picks, questionable picks. I thought all you guys here did great with your first round picks. There was a first round pick though that I didn't like. My favorite pick of the first round was Sugandhi's trading up for RJ Harvey. I didn't think it was going to happen because the guy that he traded with definitely could have used RJ Harvey. And everything I'd read and heard about RJ Harvey and Sean Payton was it was like a Kamara-like expected production rate and usage. And he ended up trading for Kamara, which I guess if you can't get the real thing, I mean, if you want that, then just get the real thing. But he had contracts to spend, and he could have definitely used RJ Harvey. So that was kind of my least favorite pick of the draft in total. Kamish, you look ready to go ahead.
I could just tell that the butterfly effect hit home because you haven't stopped talking since the segment ended. But thank you for being a good sports scum. BC, Poe Nix. I like that. Poe Nix is a good nickname. I just have a few, man. Favorite. I broke it down into favorite draft picks other than my own. Big fan of Quan's tight end duo, particularly keeping Colson Loveland in the fourth. Grabbing Colson Loveland in the fourth, and honestly, outside of the draft, just his treasure trove of keepers, man. It's just, you have to be impressed by looking at the sheer number of solid keepers he brought back into the draft. Curse, I love Ted McMillan at 10. I feel like Curse always finds a jewel, particularly in a draft like this where we went running back heavy, and a receiver like that falls to him. I think what solidifies that even more was the Panthers moving on from Adam Thielen. I think it shows how happy they are with their pick of Ted McMillan and how he's shoring up that number one receiver role. T. Ruth, and again, I'm just throwing a bunch out here. Sorry if I step on anybody's toes. Bill Krosky Merritt in the second round. Sugandhi's trade for Bo Nix, which we just, I'm beating a dead horse. Rookie combo of Hampton and Igbuka, grabbing Igbuka in the second round like that. Hawkinson, good value in the fourth. I see showing a lot of growth in year 3, with or without the Quan's assistance. Vusi securing a strong running back room and still grabbing, he lied to us about Travis Hunter, but he still got him in the third round. If I can move really quickly to my worst draft picks and moves, Scum's aforementioned Bo Nix trade, number one. Who's coming in second, trading out of a strong rookie running back draft class position to basically get senior citizens. Cam Ward in the third round seemed to me like a reach. And speaking of Scum and Womith, they are projected now. It's not set in stone, but right now, if you look at the score projections, Scum's projected to score 90 points, Womith 97. Coming out of the gate a little slow to start the season. The only 2 teams in AGS projected to score below 100 in week 1.
Thank you, man. Riveting shit. NJC, what do you got? Got him with his pants. Got him with his pants down. Quan, what do you got?
No, my bad. I was on mute. I think a lot of the stuff that I was going to mention was already brought up, so I think I'll just say stuff that wasn't. I think that Jamon basically drafted his same old team. I think the Krosky Merritt was like a good pick. I like Scatabo, Nick, even though I was talking shit when you picked it, because that's who I was looking at the round that you grabbed him for the same reasons. Who's coming in second, man? Like, I think I saw a post on Instagram that said, like, it was like a shout out for the people in the fantasy league who just donate for the pot and come in last place. Shout out to you, Awumi. Like, we need that 250, bro, and we need you to come to the weekend because that's basically all you do.
Flies in from New Orleans every year just for the vibes.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, man, we need the pot to be, we need a big pot. So, yeah, I just think, Nick, I'm not going to jump on you like everybody's jumped on, but yeah, I probably wouldn't have made that trade like that you did. Not everything else, dude. I mean, I understand why you took Mason. I probably, you take him when you can get him. Johnson was a good pick. I like Scatterbo. I probably would have held on to Poe Nix a little bit longer and milked it for a trade in the season, though.
Yes. Quan.
Nick, I don't have.
Start into the Rebel Scum roast.
You're turning into the Rebel Scusi.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so. Deservedly so.
Okay, but I think I'm not gonna beat a dead stormtrooper.
He's been pegged enough tonight.
Yeah. I'll be quick with just I think Lennon covered everything mostly, but my favorite pick of the draft, I know I'm gonna hear it, but I think Emeka Ibuka in the second round by Oops after picking Omarion Hampton. I was surprised at that. I think he's
Were you surprised by that? Stop right there.
100%.
Were you surprised by that?
100%. I knew he. I mean, like everyone else.
No, finish that sentence. You've only what?
I've only told him what to do with everything.
I've only told him with the first.
He was going to take either Hampton or Williams with his first pick. I knew that, but aside from that, I had no clue how he was going to do the rest of the draft. I think that was obvious, but for him to make such a smart pick with his second pick, Emeka Ibuka, I thought that I really liked that pick. That was my favorite pick. In the second round, and really one of the most surprising moves, which goes to show how tough this league is getting now. The older this league gets, the more and more we have learned what is the value within our format, except for Scum. No, I was messing with Scum. And a Woomy. No, I'm joking. No, but the pick that I disliked the most, and this may be surprising, I felt that that Vu could have shored up what was weak in his lineup was his receiving core in the second round, but he chose to grab a fourth strong running back in Isaiah Pacheco, where he could have had the likes of Mike Evans, Ibuka, T. Higgins. Who else am I missing? Rashid Rice. I mean, not Rashid Rice, Ricky Pearsall. Many other good wide receivers were available to shore up. I mean, to pretty much strengthen his wide receiver core with that pick, but he chose a fourth running back, which he's probably really not going to use. So that was a pick I disliked the most. And it just kind of appeared to me he wasn't necessarily looking at his needs, was more so looking at the value. But it may work out for him though. So
he's lucky to be looking at anything fantasy related, given the fact that he was maybe or maybe not at a bat mitzvah,
and maybe or maybe not had someone helping him pick. Who knows?
I don't know. I didn't hear any L'chaimims or Mazel Tovs.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
I think I don't know, man.
I don't know anything that starts at 10 a.m. Any party, any pop mitzvah that starts at 10 a.m.
Well, it's interesting that the
3 hours.
The excuse isn't super believable. I'll throw it out there. We were kind of shamed by our family. Our niece, Cheyenne, had her baby shower on the day of the draft. Eric Penthouse Pimps is her godfather. Sinkei is her cousin. I'm her uncle, and we all, remained loyal to the AGS draft. So for Vu not only to skip out on the draft for an alleged bat mitzvah, but then to turn around on the group chat and try to shame us for enjoying draft weekend. It's weirdo behavior, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised at by the Vussy, but either you want to be in the league and enjoy the league or not. And I think that I'm being very serious. I did talk to Coco Crisp this week, and he does have a rule where, if a league member skips out on the live draft, because it impacts the draft, whether it's for that team or the overall group that's sitting there waiting for you to get through 5 players before you find one that's actually available to be drafted. It impacts us. We had a 3-hour draft that probably could have been closer to 2 hours if Bussy showed up. So that's something that we're going to consider seriously. Either you want to be a part of the group or you don't.
The hammer of
Bitch!
the commissioner.
Sorry,
And
that just mic drop something. Wow.
hey, say that
I don't
again.
think
Let's get a clean one.
think that
Let's
was
get a clean one,
ChatGPT.
NJC. Say it again. Say it again.
That was too loud. The microphone didn't catch it. That's a step back a little bit.
Bitch.
All right, we'll make it work. I'll put a censor beep over it. We'll get the
Just use too short voice.
There you go.
biatch. All right. As we get towards the end of this pod episode, let's talk about the waivers. The waivers officially cracked off last night,
Jesus.
and there's a bit of a frenzy. Indeed, Jesus is the proper reaction there. Let's chat about, speaking of the Vussy, the stinky Vussy, stinky Vussy. Interesting waiver moves he made. Dropping quarterbacks, picking up quarterbacks, throwing Diddy shade. What was the reaction to the waivers? A lot of action last night.
Well,
Quan, go ahead. I think you had something.
Yeah. So it's odd to me that because like BC said, the 15th pick is probably one of the most important picks because to me the number one waiver wire position is one of the most pretty much coveted positions out there. Like there's keepers, franchise players that have been picked up with that position. And it's when I first got into the league, I noticed right away that it was undervalued because it was reversed where the 12th pick was getting that pick, and I immediately made a vote that it should go to the number one overall pick, which is the worst player in the league, because it will only make the champion that much better. And ever since then, it's appropriately done that way. But it was weird to see that Vu preseason just discarded the very first waiver wire pick and used it preseason on a fourth quarterback, which I think he already dropped. Which is
used it twice. Used it, I think, to get Jared Goff and to get Jackson Dart. You mentioned the championship team, NJC, and the runner-up Quan. You guys have moved up significantly. You're number 7 and 8 on the waiver wire. Vussy was the worst abuser of it, going from number 1 overall on waivers to now number 12. But Oops used it, T. Ruth used it, the Curse used it. So they're all bringing up the rear there on waivers. And I mean, if anything to point to is just recent history, right? With, week 1, was it last year or the year before, where Kyron and Puka pop off week 1?
Yeah.
Both had gone undrafted and become pillars of teams for the next few years. So, yeah, I had no possible interest in utilizing a waiver until post week 1.
Right now, it's all speculation. We are all speculating what these players are going to do. The waiver wire is the one pick you have where you can use hardcore, factual evidence of picking a player who's going to produce. And I'm surprised that it was wasted so quickly. I still don't think, I don't think Oops understands waivers yet. It took me a couple years before I figured that out. But for Dominique, someone who's been in the league double-digit years now, I'm surprised at that. Curse, I think Curse, because there's trade rumors right now for Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, I think Curse probably jumped on that thinking that I was going to put in a waiver for Tootin. The Jamon doesn't care. Yes, but I was surprised at the way the waivers went.
Well, there's a reason that we call he fights it, but there's a reason we call him the accidental champion when moves like that are made, not only in the draft but on waivers. I think it was termed, I think by you, Quan, on the group thread, sower Vussy. There's a lot of anger on the group chat that I kind of touched on already. But I will say on the flip side, we got a lot of positive feedback from our listeners that they enjoyed having him on the podcast. He does bring some entertainment value and curse words, but entertainment value when he does join the pod.
At least
Curse
there's that.
words, racial slurs. There is that. He's an entertaining podcast. Speaking of Vussy, let's just roll right into the choose your own Vussy. This is kind of a new concept here, and I'm really digging this one. Kamish, break this down for our loyal listeners.
Yeah, I think
I'm liking this one too.
Yeah, we're all digging it, and it's a first time, and it might be a last time because I just don't know of any other team who's had so many options for their, our last place suffrage is we change your name, we change your team logo. Vussy's name has been changed currently. He's going into week 1 against me, and I have chosen, based on his reaction to last week's podcast, he got really, his lips got very furrowed, and he got really, it was a very angry response to hearing this name. And it was, I didn't want to be a groomsman anyway, with a anger face emoji. So I'm going to roll with that one, but there's so many options. Everyone had their favorites. So what we decided to do is for every week, there will be a choose your own Vussy, almost like your choose your own adventure. So, going into the week, league owners, feel free to contact your commissioner and let me know which of the Vussy names you would like to play against that week, and I will update the name for you.
I already know mine.
Oh, hey, so you need to post an official list.
I feel like
as
as season goes, there'll be another one. Well, there'll be more that can just cut nice.
Oh my god!
I'll definitely add a list to the chat so you can choose which Vussy you'd like for the week. Live out your any Vussy fantasies that you have. Scum, what's your Vussy fantasy?
I really like the 3-slap proposal. I always thought that one was great.
I feel like some names made me use multiple times. How about you, Quan, NJC? Any favorites for your weeks?
I'm leaning towards Phantom of the Butt Mitzvah.
Phantom of the Butt Mitzvah.
Moving away from Gukai Jizz Gobbler, and
I know that's probably going to end up. Nothing's going to top the Gukai Jizz Gobbler.
I like the Tokyo Titty Boy.
There you go.
Tokyo.
Hey, the Tokyo titties might be a little tighter than the Vussy.
Good God,
that's cinnamon roll. Oh my God,
disturbing. Did you create that? Did you prompt that one out?
Man, I see some wild things on the internet, and when they speak to me, I must share with my friends.
That was disturbing in some sort of delicious kind of way, because I fucking love cinnamon rolls. I was mad somebody grabbed one from the donut box that day,
and it really looked like them too. So
damn. Does anybody have anything else they want to drop here before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, let's do. Can we get into NJC's top 3?
Oh yeah,
NJC's top 3. We saved the best for last.
Save the best for last. Let's do that.
So I'm not going to say anything that we haven't already talked about tonight. So NJC's top 3. All right, number 3, keeping 2 quarterbacks only to desperately trade a top 10 QB for a round 6 with no upside goes to you, scummy scum. That was assy. All right. Number 2, not to throw anyone under the bus, but witnessing Quan instruct Oops on what contracts to keep and what not in front of the whole freaking AGS. That goes to you, Lulu.
There's a reason that Quan got Trump gut this week. It's no longer Montezuma's revenge. It's Trump gut. They don't hide it anymore. They do it right in front of us. They show it. They're unabashed, unashamed. We will collude in front of you, motherfuckers. What are you going to do about it?
No, it's crazy. NJC's out.
He broke his mic mid top 3. There we go.
Yeah, I did. That was hilarious. Sorry. Yeah, you guys are out in the open with your collusion, dude. Like, take that shit somewhere or just stop. Jesus Christ. It's year 3. All right, number one. Missing one of the best draft weekends in AGS history to pretend to go to a bat mitzvah just to escape jokes and accountability is freaking insane. So number one goes to the phantom of the bat mitzvah, you, Boosie. That is fucking ridiculous, man. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Not only to miss it, but then to double down and try to shit on us. When I had a great weekend, Bussy. So call me Diddy, call me Cassie, call me gay, call me whatever you want, Bussy. You can't call me a bitch ass nigga that went to a bat mitzvah.
Damn, that perfect way to close it out. I want to thank you, fellas. I want to thank you, fellas, for all the deserved roasting. And thank you guys for showing up tonight. Great segments by the commission. Thank you for NJC's Top 3, another great segment. Quan, you're always breaking it down. For all of us, to all of you, we'll be back with another episode once season kicks off. See y'all later.
Hey, Scum, I hope you can sleep tonight, man. Sorry to go so hard on you.
Please, we said hello.